Hey guys, Ron and Jim coming at you today. As you can tell behind us, it is Christmas time. We're at our home base here in Fort Worth, and we're looking back at 2022.
Been an eventful 2022, that's for sure. There's been lots of trips.
Yes.
Lots of
Yes.
adventuring.
So we decided to do a recap of our year and where we were, where we're going next year.
Yep.
You know, and we're going to break it up into a couple different videos.
Yeah, we don't want to overwhelm everybody with long videos, so we're going to go with just shorter ones. Not short ones, but shorter, I should say.
So we're going to take a look today at the national parks we visited and the state parks we visited here in 2022. All right, so let's get right to it. Let's talk national parks.
National parks.
All right. So this year we went out to Utah.
And we went to Zion. But
And-
before we went over there, we went to Bryce
Canyon. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we were only basically had a weekend, and we tried to maximize as much as we could.
Yeah.
We were meeting up with my family and hanging out.
They're from Arizona and California, so we just kind of all converged on Utah.
Yeah, so it was amazing. I mean, we drove up Bryce Canyon,
That was beautiful.
and there was snow at the top still.
Like, as far as you can go into Bryce Canyon, that's where we went. And there was definitely snow everywhere still. Not all over, but any
Yeah.
shady spots, it was covered.
We went up to the tippy top.
Yes, the long drive.
Luckily, the RV park that we were staying at, the host there was telling us, "Hey, go at sunset, and you'll be amazed at the view." So, and we did, and we absolutely loved it.
Yeah, she was saying that the canyon almost looks sparkly, and it just kind of comes alive when the sunset hits it. It's really pretty.
Yep. And we got in on a Thursday, right?
I think so.
Yeah, we got in
The
on
whole
a
trip was a whirlwind.
We get on a
so-
Thursday. We got there right as the park was actually closing, so we were able to get in, check it out, drive around, which was great.
Yeah.
And we decided we wanted to go back the next day.
Yeah, and we were
Well-
actually leaving our RV park to head to Zion the next day, but we were able to kind of zip over there and do a little sightseeing and then come back. And
What took me by surprise is when we went back Friday morning, the park was packed.
oh yeah, because we were there on a Thursday evening, and you know the weekend crowds hadn't gotten there yet, so it was a little shocking when we went back Friday. We couldn't even hardly park to try to go to like Sunset Point or anything like that. All the parking was taken up. There were buses, there was people everywhere. So
It was
weekends
crazy.
are crazy. Yeah, he let me out so I could go to the overlook and get some really good pictures, but he didn't get to see it. So we do plan on going back there.
So that leads us into Zion National Park. So the original goal of the trip was to meet up with my family, have a nice weekend, do some hiking, sightseeing, and exploring Zion. And we had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the biking through the national park alone was worth every bit of it.
We really enjoyed Zion. You know, great hiking, beautiful scenery, you know, the bike rides, you know, it's great. But I would say the one thing that our trips to both Zion and Bryce did was leave us wanting to go back and do more.
Yeah, we want to go visit all the parks in Utah, and we want to just explore those two even more, you
Yeah.
know, to experience them to the fullest.
All right, so out of the two national parks, now I know it's only two, which one was your favorite? And it's kind of biased.
I can't really say. I can't really make up my mind. I mean, we didn't explore Bryce enough
Exactly.
to know, and I think if we did, I think it would probably be my favorite, just because seeing down in there into the canyon, what we saw when we went on our drive, and then what I saw when I went to the overlook, it was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't able to do any hiking or biking or anything there, so that's what I would love to do. I would love to explore Bryce like we did Zion.
But you know, I would definitely say, you know, we got to spend more time in Zion, so Zion would be my favorite of the national parks.
At this moment.
Yep. If you're familiar with our channel at all, then you know that we love our Texas state parks. Mm-hmm. And in 2022, we happened to be able to visit 7 of them.
Yes.
So that was fun. We really enjoy them. We love to support the state and the
Our
parks.
dog. We actually went to 3 state parks at the beginning of the year. We started off with Possum Kingdom Lake State Park, and it was quite vacant. I think we were one of maybe 4 campers out there.
Yeah, it was great. We pretty much had the whole park to ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, we got to do some hiking, you know, take Bear on some trails.
Yeah, it was really cold when we were there.
Here's a fun fact. That was the first time we ever used the water pump in our trailer.
Yes, it was, because
We're
it
full
was
hookup.
getting, yeah, we like our full hookups, but it was getting so cold at night that we knew it was going to be well below freezing. So we had to fill it up, unhook it, and it had frozen the pipes at the park. So the bathrooms, after that first freeze that night, the bathrooms remained closed because something happened with the piping in there. So it got really, really cold while we were there. We stayed toasty in our little trailer though, so there was no issue for us. All right, the next one we went to is Lake Whitney. Now, I know I thoroughly enjoyed this park. Amazing.
Winter camping in Texas.
Winter camping.
You know, barely anybody there. You know,
Very cold at night, which I don't mind as long as the camper stays warm. So that wasn't too bad. And that was in February, so we were really lucky at that point that we weren't too cold, because it did get cold in February, just not then. All right, and the third state park was Tyler State Park, and we had never camped out there before anywhere really, and we really liked that state park. Friends of ours go to the Jellystone that's a mile down the road from the state park,
yeah.
but we're not Jellystone people. We don't have kids, you know, it's not really our scene. So we go to the state park, and that park was busy.
Yeah, that park was busy. We
Was
actually,
surprising.
In our spot, we were kind of on a slight overlook right where the trail
Where a trail starts.
Where a trail starts.
Yeah, it
so
goes around the little lake
it was
there.
it was a beautiful spot, but it was a high traffic area.
Yeah, all during the day there were people walking through and walking with their dogs and everything, and not cleaning up after their dogs, which, you know, that's right next to my camper, guys. Clean up after your dogs.
Yes, please clean up after your dog. So
But that park was great. The hiking was a little bit more strenuous than most of the state parks. But it was really nice. I mean, it's gorgeous out there in the Piney Woods.
yeah, Tyler State Park's great.
I'd definitely go back. I wonder when their slow times are. All right, and like we said, at the beginning of April, we were at Zion and Bryce Canyon. And at the end of April, we were down in New Braunfels at Camp Fimfo for the Switch It Up huddle, which was magnificent. And we have video on that, so you should check it out. And then, oh yeah, we got back from New Braunfels. And we were home for 6 days, and we turned around and went all the way down to the coast, down to Gulf Waters and Port A, to stay for a little bit. But none of those are state parks. But there is a state park in that area on
That we
Mustang
did-
Island,
yeah, that we
which
did
is
go.
Mustang Island State Park. We did go hang out there one day.
Yeah, now it's a no frills campground.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But you know what? You're at the beach. You know, you're not right on the beach, but you're extremely close. So you're definitely within walking distance.
Yeah, it's basically a parking lot, but you walk around the sand dunes and you're on the beach. So that for me, that seals it. If I'm at the beach, I'm good.
Yeah, and I believe they're renovating the park as well because
They
they didn't
are.
have a park store.
They
or
used to have a
an
park store.
office.
Yeah, that has been damaged from hurricanes. It's probably the last hurricanes that had gone through. What was that with Harvey?
There's
I don't
been so
remember.
many, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the building that would normally be their park offices and the store and everything was closed. They did have like a little shipping container that they were working out of, and that they had little items for sale.
Yeah, and also with that state park, you've got the beach side, but then you've got the
The Bayside.
bayside. Mm-hmm. Yeah, bayside.
Yeah, and a lot of people go over there because I guess it's
Good
less
fishing.
crowded and it's good fishing. It's really cool. If you want to go somewhere secluded, that's the place to do it. Okay, so Port A and Mustang Island State Park was the beginning of May. And then when we go into June, and we went to Caprock Canyons State Park. That was an experience. I did not know that Texas looked like that. And I've been here all my life. I had never been up there to Caprock Canyon, so I didn't know what to expect. I know everybody said it was really pretty, it's worth going. I had no idea.
Yeah, the previous year we had done Palo Duro Canyon.
And that's impressive.
We loved it out there, you know, but the one thing that kept enticing me was the state of Texas bison herd that free roams over the park.
Yeah, and
And-
there are a lot of them, and they're big, and they are everywhere, and we didn't try to interact with them, they just showed up.
Yeah, they wanted to interact with us.
Yes, they showed up in our campsite.
Yeah, the park itself is massive.
It really is.
There's tons of hiking trails. You know, they go back ways. You know, there's canyons, obviously, called Caprock Canyon.
So
And like Rhonda said, I mean, you're walking around there and you're like, wait, we're in Texas?
yeah, because
Because it has a Utah kind of feel to it.
it really does. The colors, the terrain. Once you get back to a certain point, you're like, okay, what world is this? You know, did I step into another world, another dimension? Because it doesn't look real. And so
Yeah.
you see the views in the distance. It's like, wait, what?
So July, we were actually supposed to be at a different state park.
We were supposed to go to Atlanta State Park, which is far, far, far East Texas. And then Andrew had gotten sick.
Andrew got COVID.
He had COVID, and it was like, oh, do I want to be? He doesn't live at home, but you know, if he needed anything, you know, we wanted to be around.
We wanted to be close. And then what was the deciding factor was a thunderstorm hit Atlanta State Park and knocked out half the power to the campground.
Yeah, they let us know that.
So we made the decision to find another place closer.
Yeah.
And we found a park that's basically an hour away from the house.
Yeah.
And it was really nice.
Yeah,
Now-
Lake Ray Roberts State Park.
And that state park actually has multiple camping areas.
Oh my gosh, they do.
It's a huge lake.
Yeah, they have lots of camping, and it's not, you know, a parking lot style. They are on camping loops. Then they're very well spaced, and
I mean,
It's really
if you need a base camp that's
excuse me.
close proximity to Dallas and Fort Worth, I'd say that's probably a good spot if you want to be in a state park, that is. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed our time out there, but again, it was just way too short and we didn't have time to explore the
Yeah.
whole park.
We were out of the house, away from the house, which is always the point, to, you know, just get out and get away for a little bit. But it was too darn hot.
Yeah, you
You couldn't do much.
got to get in that camping mindset, you know, detach yourself from the rest of the world.
That's what we do. We just,
So that was July. So
was
that
July.
leads us into August.
yep. Another hot one. We went to Cleburne State Park,
Yes.
and that was nice. I had never been there. I've been to Cleburne all my life, but we had never ventured down that way. We even bought our trailer in Cleburne.
Yeah.
You know, but we had never gone to Cleburne State Park.
It's another park that's pretty close to the house, a couple hours away.
Yeah, and it is
know.
super nice. We made an oopsie, like I was mentioning before. We kind of went on a trail we shouldn't have taken our bikes on. Great hiking trail.
That was the one where we found out that even though it says you can bike on them, you definitely want to hike it first to see the terrain.
Yeah, that's
you know.
that's our golden rule now. Hike the trail first, then a bike if it's accessible with a bike.
And that's another park that, you know, definitely want to go back and spend some more
when
time
it's
in.
not so hot.
Yeah.
Now, in September, we did Fort Richardson State Park and Historical Site. Now, that was really cool. Great biking. Just to bike on the roads in the park was amazing. I love just to be able to bike down the road like that.
Yeah, and the history of the state park is just amazing. Fort Richardson, they have a lot, you know, they have a lot of it restored.
And they're working on more,
Yep.
restoring more. Yeah, it's amazing.
And it's got a great feel. And, you know, if you want to possibly see a ghost, you know.
Maybe.
All right, so October we had to change things up. My niece was getting married in California, so we flew out to San Diego. Not an RV trip,
Nope.
but we did scout a few spots.
Oh, yeah, there's a state park right at the beach that we have got to go to now.
Yeah.
I'm like, heck yeah.
So we had fun exploring, and we didn't go to a national park, but we did find a national monument.
Yes.
So, and that was a Cabrillo.
Cabrillo National Monument.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
That was a blast. So
Yeah, and I had never been to San Diego, so that was really cool to be able to explore it.
all right, so that rounds us out to our last state park of the year that
In
we went
November.
to. November.
That was my birthday trip.
And where did we go?
Lake Tawakoni State Park.
Lake Tawakoni. So,
That is also East Texas.
and we got a chance to meet up with some new friends. Melanetti from Melanetti's Living Free Zip Codeless. Had a nice time out with them, and then we got to explore the park a little bit.
Yeah, it was cold and rainy when we got there and stayed cold. And the day before we were going to leave, it was sunshiny.
Yep.
It was still chilly, but it was sunshiny. So we're like, let's get the bikes and go.
You know, in another winter cold camping park where we were, you know, one of probably 6 people that were camping at the time.
Yeah, when we got there in the first couple of days, we were the only people on the camping loop that we were on.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And then one other person came in on
Yeah.
like Wednesday or something. They came in.
Yeah.
So that was fine.
7 parks this year.
7 parks. Got them
That's
marked off on that map.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm sure we're going to hit quite a few up this year.
Oh yeah, there's lots of them that I want to visit that we haven't visited.
Well, we're going to see 2 state parks in January, but not Texas state parks.
Not Texas state parks, no.
No, we are going to Tampa for the annual RV show out there. So that'll be our first experience. So
Yep.
we'll bring you guys along for that.
Yeah,
Should
that's
be a
gonna
lot of fun. So,
yeah.
all right. So now let's talk about favorite state park.
Okay.
So you think you know which one is mine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Should I tell you?
Go ahead.
Can I tell you now? I think your favorite state park is Cap Rock Canyons.
You would be correct.
See,
Yeah.
I told him earlier that I knew which one it was.
Yeah, and for me, it was just you feel so detached. You
Oh
know?
yeah, you feel.
You are unplugged, except for your Wi-Fi. But
We had good Wi-Fi with our antenna in the park, so we were
yeah,
okay.
I did have to put it up about 15 feet in the air for us to get a signal, but it
But we
worked.
had signal. That
yeah,
was the most
were-
important
There
part.
was other people in the campground
Yeah.
that didn't have signal. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just the interactions with wildlife.
Now they do come into the campground. If you ever go there and you camp there with your RV or a tent, they do come in the campgrounds. They
Yes.
like it for whatever reason. They like to come in the campgrounds, probably because people leave, smelly food and smelly trash outside, and they're curious animals. And normally they're just big lumbering giants that just move on through. We didn't have any problems with them. They were just there, and it startled the heck out of me. I opened the window, and one was pretty much staring back at me outside the window.
Don't tell them. Watch the video.
Yes.
Find out what happened. So yeah, absolutely, Cap Rock was my favorite state park. That was the best state park experience of 2022 for me. So, what is your favorite state park?
Do I have to have a different one because you claimed that one?
No, I mean you can. It's, you do you, boo.
We've only scratched the surface when it comes to state parks in the state. But for right now, I think that is my favorite. It was just something that I had never experienced before. I had never spent, up until we had gone and spent time at Palo Duro Canyon and then going to Cap Rock, those are the only times I've spent lengthy amounts of time in the Panhandle.
So let me ask you this: since we both had the same park, what would be your number 2?
Probably Lake Whitney.
Yeah, yeah. I would say it's between Lake Whitney and Possum Kingdom.
Yeah, I do like Possum Kingdom.
As far as hiking, biking in the state park, that was probably Lake Whitney was probably the funnest.
Yeah, because we hiked and biked the same trails, and then we just biked the entire park, and, and it's not small, and that was so fun.
Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in and checking us out. Everything that we mentioned, we have a video on. Check it out. But until next time,
We will see you out there.
we'll see you out there.
Bye.
Bye-bye.